I hear when they tell you you remain, then you refuse, then they can poison you. In case you are seeing me for the very first time, my name is Delak Mom Deborah Anshoka. I'm an ex-housemaid of Saudi Arabia, and mostly I create awareness on what happens in the Middle East. I also do talk about modern slavery and human trafficking. Most of my fans have been complaining like mom, you speak too much Swahili, but I promise you that I've gone back to class and I'm learning English little by little, so I'll be trying my best to make sure that the point is at home when answering questions from my fans. So this lady, she's asking, like, when you are done with the contract and then your bosses, these are the Gulf bosses, be it in Saudi Arabia or in Gulf country, when they tell you to remain after the contract, if you refuse, they can poison you. She is asking if it is true in some cases. So I'm trying to answer this question the way I understand it, but if you have a different opinion, you are allowed to comment in the comment section. You can just tell us, oh, this can also happen. So it is possible. So most of the time I tell people, and I do talk more about Saudi Arabia because that is where I have first-hand information. That is where I was. So I do cover other countries, but most of the time my experience, I just relate it to Saudi life. So once you are done with your contract after 2 years, there are some bosses who will tell you, we want you to add 1 year, or we want you to go and come back. But you have to make an agreement that you are coming back. If you are coming back, they'll give you a re-entry exit visa and a ready ticket. Or they can give you a re-entry visa and make you return to their home. If you are given a re-entry visa, you have to go back to the same house. Okay? So maybe you can say, oh, me, I don't want to come to this house. If you don't want to go back to that house, or you don't want to go back to that country, you can accept the re-entry visa. Because all the same, you are not going back to the same country, you are not going back to the same house. If you want to be on the safer side, because now if you feel like maybe if I say I will not come back, they will poison me. If I say I'm not adding up, they will poison me. So what you do, you just accept with everything they are saying. Because there are some people who want to go back and reunite with their kids and maybe start life afresh. So if you are not sure of going back to that country, or you don't want to go back, you can accept, tell them I'm coming back, let them give you that re-entry visa. Because if you are not coming back or returning to the same house, they will give you a final exit. Final exit means you will be taken to different house, same country. Okay? But if you go with re-entry visa, it means you go back to the same house. You will not be allowed to go to work in any other house in Saudi Arabia. So that is why I'm telling people, like, if you feel like I will not go back to this house, I'm not planning to go back to this country, no matter what, you go home, get your re-entry visa, because without this exit visa or re-entry visa, there's no way you can pass through the airport in Saudi Arabia. So those are the requirements that will allow you travel from that country to your country. So if you are wise enough, you can say, I'm coming back. You just make peace with them. At the back of your mind, knowing that I'm just preventing myself from being poisoned. Okay? But if you are done with the contract and they tell you you need to add some months, remind them the contract is 24 months. And don't be harsh on them when they're telling you that you need to add your contract. Don't be harsh on them. Just behave like you are hearing what they're saying, you are understanding, but don't be in hurry to give them an answer like, you know what, I am tired with this house, I will never come back, I don't want to add any days. You will make this person's anger to rise up. You know, these people, they have ego. Their ego is what directs them on what to do. This is somebody who is accommodating you in their house. They are paying you, yes. There's no problem. It is your right. But you don't have that right of responding back to them. Somebody will tell you, like, mom, you know what? I want you to work for 4 months after the contract. You just keep quiet. As a wise woman, just keep quiet, wait for your contract to end, and then start seeking for help if they don't want to allow you, because you just mentioned, like, you know what, remind them, maybe when you are washing dishes, when you are cutting salad, just remind them that, you know what, madam, my contract is ending, maybe you have 2 months to go. You just remind them. Reminding them, it is not an offense. Remind them, I'm going back home in the next 2 months because I know my contract is ending in the next 2 months. See on their reaction. Already you have passed the message. See on their reaction. If they will be angry or happy or what. They will not, somebody will not poison you because you mentioned that your contract is ending in the next 2 months. Okay? If they give you a negative response, like, you know what, you have to stay for more than 3 months because your income has not expired. That is what they say. You just keep quiet, keeping in your mind that the contract is 24 months. So when it reaches to 24 months, and tell them, now I am done. Madam, I told you in the last 2 months that I was going home in the next 2 months. Now be serious, start becoming serious. At that point, be very careful on what you consume. Be very careful on what you eat, what you speak, because that is a risk time. You don't know. You know, the future is just blood. You don't know what will happen next. But let me tell you that when you are almost finishing up the contract, you have 2 weeks, you have 1 week, already you are done with the contract. Be very careful on what you eat. We have slow poison. Somebody might be having a grudge on you and you are not aware. They can poison you, yes. So by the time you reach home, maybe you say 1 week, 1 month, and we call it the end of your life. So it is better to be very careful on what you consume when you are done with your contract. It is better to be very careful on what you speak towards your employer, because these things, they do happen, and people will not come out to tell because they fear that people will say, oh, you are lying, you are doing ABCD, you want to get views on this. But views or not views is the point at home. Make people understand that you know what you are saying. So it is good that this user, I don't know her name, she has decided to come out and ask, because this is what she has been hearing. So when you're done with your contract, be careful on how you respond to your boss. Be careful on what you consume, because your future is unpredictable during that time. Thank you for the question. I still continue answering my questions in English so that everybody can be accommodated. Thank you.